Now, I know a lot of people like to use Digimon minifigurines for their memory counter. I wonder if we can get something like that as an object for use. A nice little Koromon in there.
We'll have to load it next time. Looks like XGN Tornado here on the blue side has some custom sleeves. It's going to be the BlitzGreymon there with, not familiar with this character, on his Digitama. While G-Man Toga Beaver not choosing to do any sleeves, no spoilers on his side. Alright, they're deciding who's going first. And then now, whoever's going first will see if they want to mulligan.
Is that the legendary Booster 2 Gomamon I see?
Oh yeah, let me highlight that.
Oh
right
no.
We're talking about this card, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, this is going to be interesting. I wasn't expecting that just yet.
Many people will tell you the first rule of deck building is do not include Booster 1 or Booster 2 Gomamons.
Alright, looks like G-Man Toga Beaver using his mulligan. He will have to mulligan both security and his hand. And thank you for the follow there, Edward.
It does have a full chain now with that mulligan.
Alright, looks like it's gonna be a blue deck with Shakkoumon in there, and then on the red side we have the bird. The bird dot deck. This is exciting.
Yes. Alright, so Shakkoumon, one of the most powerful, potentially anyway, control options to come out of Booster 3. Making it so that all of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards get security attack -1.
Alright, he digivolves into Gabumon, and then playing Gabumon draws him one card. Red deck playing the Poromon as well.
Full-on theming, I like it.
I think it has been the choice of Tamas now that it's come out compared to compared to Koromon or Digimon, at least in my decks.
Yeah, I mean, you see one of the reasons why they're on XGen Tornado's side, that 1000 DP Gabumon very vulnerable to the Poromon if it does not get evolved.
Alright, another Gabumon there on the draw. Plenty of rookies in hand. Does have the lineup all the way to Mega.
It's going to see the Poromon looming there underneath that Greymon and get that Booster 1 Gabumon Digivolved into a Grismon to get a blocker on board as well. So let's see. So we could well see Sylphimon come down here. Now, Sylphimon has an interesting when Digivolved effect of setting, I believe it's a level 4 or lower, Digimon's DP to exactly 1000, their base DP. Not super useful if you don't, or if you end the turn with it, though.
If you guys have any problems with the sound, feel free to let me know in chat, and I'll go ahead and fix it.
See, just a pair of Greymons, the plus 2000 DP inheritable effect. It's also a very cheap hard drop.
So far, none of the spicy cards have landed on the board. We do see a Ragna, I'm sorry, not a Ragna, an Omegamon Alter S, Omnimon Alter S on the red side.
Yep, and on the other side, we see a non-alternative Omnimon, just the one that's been terrorizing the format ever since Booster 1.
So we just started, so you didn't miss much yet.
So far, no swings at security. Both sides just building up. DP not too high for either side. I wonder if G-Man is feeling like he wants to wait until he can get past more memory before he evolves these Selfie-Mons. But here goes ahead and comes one down. Kind of wasting that when Digivolved effect if you don't get to keep turn with it. But it does synergize very well with the Poromon.
Alright, here we go. If you haven't seen these Digimon, they're the hybrid Digimon. They can evolve from 2 colors, and the Evo bubble will say what colors they can come from and what level and cost.
Yeah, and kind of unique to the Selfie-Mon, as well as the Shakkoumon, they count as a second color while they're out in your battle area. Not all of them, like the Pyldramon and Dinobemon, do not have that clause, but Shakkoumon and Selfie-Mon do, allowing you to branch into potentially different Mega-level Digimon.
And it says right there on the card that this card is also treated as a blue Digimon, so don't always assume that the hybrid type Digimon are 2 colors.
Yep, and also don't assume that they are that color in the raising area where effects don't work.
Right, here we go. Poromon not able to hit anything right now.
Yeah, both sides have pretty much been choked at just 1 or 2 memories so far for this entire game. So that on-Digivolve effect of Selfie-Mon, not really helpful. But there comes BlitzGreymon to de-Digivolve a bunch of stuff. That'll get that Gabumon back on the board, as well as the starter Gabumon. Just going to be 3 Gabumons now.
Alright, here we go. BlitzGreymon, big boss monster of red now. His effect is to de-Digivolve one of your opponents by 2.
Being an on-Digivolve effect, only hitting 1, of course, much better than the 12 cost to hard drop Machine Dramon.
Knives Over the Toaster says, this is March of the Gabumon. Last night we had March of the Tapermon.
Yeah, we might well see Alter S come down, finish on the next turn, which at the moment would wipe the board if some things don't get evolved up a little bit higher.
So he would have to evolve a bunch of times for that to work. Alright, Desperado Blaster.
Alright, gonna trash 2, what is it, 2 from the bottom of each Digimon? Wow.
2 from the bottom of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't affect the Alter S play too much. No, there wasn't any important inheritables on the other side. Though, if he plays the Shakkoumon now, I mean, it would prevent attacks. But as soon as Alter S comes out... Okay.
Looks like she's going to pass the turn by getting a blocker ready in the raising area. So Alter S would definitely be a board wipe here. Could go ahead and take a swing with BlitzGrey. It does still have 14,000 DP courtesy of the Greymon that stayed on at the bottom of the Digivolution sources now. Not quite enough to swing over an Omnimon in security, but still pretty safe.
Good thing XGN Tornado put his Digivolution there in the raising area. So that one will at least stay alive. Okay. Here we go. Removal? Oh, it is not removal. Desperado Blaster again. Activate this main card's effect.
Right, so after all that, we might well see this turn ending with that BlitzGreymon still, well, probably being a Digivolution card itself, if that Omnimon Alter S does come down on it. Which currently would clear the board.
Chat mentioned he could have hard-casted Shakkoumon. Yeah, that would have been a play, and it would have not died from the Alter S.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting thing going forward as we see more potent de-Digivolve effects, including this Alter S coming down right here. It's how many more hard-casted Ultimates and Megas we'll see.
Alright,
that's going to be a total wipe there. Mm-hmm.
Let's put it up on the screen real quick. Just a reminder, when Digivolve all of your opponents' Digimon de-Digivolve 1, destroy all of your opponents' Digimon with 5,000 DP or less. So the Grizzlymon de-Digivolved into the 1,000 DP Digimon and he was destroyed.
Kind of shades of the original Omnimon there, destroying all Digimon of the same name. Just happened to all be Gabumons under there.
Right, looks like it should be XG and Tornado's turn now. There we go.
See, doesn't have a way to strip out that BlitzGreymon from underneath the Alter S, but would definitely be nice to get that Alter S with a security attack -1 on it. Shakkoumon looks like it will come down on top of the Grismon to keep turn.
This won't prevent the Alter S from swinging, but if Togebeaver chooses to use his ability to remove the BlitzGreymon back to his hand, then he wouldn't be able to attack further.
Yeah, that would be what I would categorize as a misplay. Unless he just really needed to take something out on the board.
Actually, Tornado does have a counter Omnimon on hand. He just needs to get to it.
Looking like he's got the Plesiomon if he wanted to pass over one. Does have a Desperado Blaster, actually, which he might be thinking about to impart that security attack -1 on the Alter S, but it actually got played. I don't believe it.
Alrighty, here we go.
For those of you who don't know, Booster 2 Goemon's cost to play it from your hand is reduced by 1 for each one of your opponent's Digimon without a Digivolution source.
So that only cost him 2.
The same cost as the starter deck Goemon, which has 3,000 DP. But it could have been less.
Alter S coming through. Looks like not using his effect, which is good.
Greymon is certainly allowed to swing at security.
He can swing, but he will not do any damage.
Just in case, he wanted to rest the Greymon for some reason.
And at this point, there's no takebacks. Didn't realize what that thing did.
This is why you read the big scary teapot. Is able to deal damage with that Agumon, though, and will survive over the 1000 DP promo Goemon.
Here we go. Yeah, so when you're playing in real life or online, make sure to ask your opponents what effects are on their cards if you're not familiar with a card, or ask to see it yourself.
See, that is actually the Wanyamon we have there under the Shakkoumon. So that Shakkoumon does actually currently have 9,000 DP. As there are at least 2 Digimon on the opponent's side with no Digivolution sources. It looks like G-Man just opting to go a little wide here. Probably going to need to get that Shakkoumon off the board before any sort of a go wide strat actually can come through and deal damage, though.
It's going to be rough climb back for XG and Tornado. There's still 5 security on the opponent's side.
Yeah, you don't really want to attack with the Shakkoumon. It's sort of the cornerstone of your control. You just want to keep it there active and staying around. We do see a Terra Force in G-Man's hand if he really wants to get rid of it. At the same time, he probably would like to get into that Omnimon of his own. Could do so this turn with the Plesiomon.
As long as XGN doesn't give 7 memory to G-Man Togebeaver, they'll be safe from the Terra Force. Only because then the Digimon won't be able to swing because it'll pass turn.
Mm-hmm. Still got a bunch of Gabumons there in the hand. Could try to play this Desperado Blaster. I believe it would essentially be 2, as he does have the promo Goemon underneath that Shakkoumon. Gonna go ahead and take a crack with this guy, and well,
I missed something there. It looked like a Terra Force was revealed.
Yeah, I don't believe that Goemon has security attack -1.
So we do have our judge in the room. They should be resolving the issue shortly.
Oh, looks like he may have been going after the Agumon instead.
It was a premature reveal on... That is a rough one. Looks like our judge is asking to shuffle the security.
Yeah, that would be some incredible knowledge that the first security is a Terraforce.
Thanks
And
for
it
the
is going to be the
follow.
Agumon getting clashed into by the Gomamon. So taking off one thing that did have a Digivolution source. Makes me think he probably is not going to play that Desperado Blaster now, as he could have removed that Digivolution source. Although unlike the Omnimon Alter S, the Agumon could potentially evolve up higher, and we are going to actually see Desperado Blaster get played.
Alright, here we go now. Shakkoumon controlling the board.
So I actually missed there how much memory he was at, but that was only a 2-cost Desperado Blaster, I believe. Thanks to the promo Gomamon. So hopefully he was at 1. That entire board not able to do any damage to security right now, and that's the strength of the Shakkoumon deck. So we do have, well, some champions, by which I mean a Cordramon, in G-Man's hand. We are going to see Groundramon come down on top of the Greymon.
Did just do a time check there. It's 5 minutes versus 3 minutes on the blue player.
Alright, Exchange Tornado might need to pick it up a little bit, as he does still have 5 security to chew through. Hasn't really been able to mount too much offense. Currently missing a champion, it looks like. Really dragging his hand. Mulling his options here. Would kind of like to get a Mega down on the board, but doesn't want to lose that Shakkoumon's effect. Just going to opt to draw some cards with the Gabumon.
Alright, chat is asking him to use his Terraforce, but looks like he's still holding on.
Yeah, I mean, if he Terraforces it right now, then he's probably got game on the next turn. But it looks like he's going to opt to just chip away, which seems pretty safe with him still at 5 security. Right now, pretty much the only way X-Gen Tornado can make a move back in the game is by giving a ton of memory anyway. Or turning his own Shakkoumon off by evolving it.
He hasn't been able to play his Omnimon. It's just not enough memory on his turn.
Yeah, I think he did have an option to play the Omnimon on a previous turn where he had 2 with the Plesiomon, but again, you don't want to give up that Shakkoumon's effect.
That's true. Cordramon on the other side.
He's gonna go for swing, and that's actually gonna be game. And that is one of the kind of the weaknesses of Shakkoumon, is that if you give your opponent enough memory, they can just kind of evolve out of the Shakkoumon lock.
Alright, that is game 1 of the first set here. 1 point goes to G-Man Togo Beaver. Now we'll get to see if players will switch up their decks.
Also, Orange, I don't actually have the hand cam on Discord.
Uh-oh. Sorry about that. Let's see.
Sorry, I was able to follow along with the slight delay.
And here we go, moving on to game 2 of the first set. After this best of 3, we are going to have another set of players to finish out the night.
Looks like X-Gen Tornado is set up again, so looks like he's going to stick with his Omnimon blue deck. Which you would imagine means that G-Man is going to do much of the same. Getting some good shuffles in.
You are free to shuffle as many times as you want. And I guess technically the other player can ask you to shuffle your deck another time, but I've never seen that happen before.
But how do you cut someone's deck on Tabletop Simulator is what I want to know.
I've never tried. Looks like they're gonna go ahead and get started here. Cooper, I'll be right back. My dog wants to get out of the house.
Understandable.
Show must go on.
I think it's kind of interesting. We have BlitzGreymon sleeves. We do have Omnimon on the deck, but it is I don't think we have Metal Garurumon on this deck either. Just sort of a. I don't think we saw. Let's see. We saw Shakkoumon, and a lot of stuff mostly just BT2 era. Blue Omnimon. Let's see the opening hands here. Got no rookie for XGN Tornado. That looks like a hand you might well want to mulligan, as the cheapest card cast cost is 4 with the Booster 1 mat. I believe we did see the Angemon from Booster 3, the blue Angemon, which is basically the same as the Garurumon there, except it is a little bit cheaper and a little bit weaker as well. Over on G-Man's side, we do have the Security Greymon making an appearance. I believe we had Security Digimon actually came up pretty big in the game yesterday. I will just poof, there's another body that you weren't expecting, just hitting the board and able to attack on the next turn. Looks like G-Man will mulligan that away. Did have one rookie in the form of that starter Agumon, but decides to see if he can get something a little bit better. And I'm imagining XGN Tornado is definitely going to mulligan this hand away.
Alright, I'm back.
XGN Tornado looking probably for a rookie after getting the cheapest hard cast cost of being a 4-cost mat. Not what you want to see. G-Man mulligans into a couple of rookies. If you're going to get 3 of one stage, you probably don't mind getting 3 rookies, as you'll be able to get some raising area mobility, as well as build a decently cheap body.
So he did get a bunch of rookies, XGN?
XGN Tornado's first hand was, I think, 2 starter deck Garurumons, a Mat, a Plesiomon, and I think a Rizmon.
Gotcha, understandable. This one looks much better.
Much better. Got 2 rookies. Got Shakkoumon's ready to go. That does indeed seem to be his main strategy, is to lock people out with that Shakkoumon. He's going to be kicking off with the Wanyamon.
And here we go. We're now starting. If you guys are watching, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, or share this stream right now to your friends on Facebook.
Just going to go ahead and use that Booster 2 Gomon. Not for not just drop it out there for the massive 4 cost that it is at base, but use it to evolve his in training there for free. Much better use.
Drawing into the tie. Nothing too new in the hand of Mantoga Beaver. I wish he was able to play the Valk last time, but
he could just hard drop it right now.
He has enough memory.
That's probably his fastest way to get to Ultra S at this point. He's going to play it conservatively, though, and just drop the Agumon.
I mean, from what he has seen from XGN Tornado's deck, we didn't see any, Ice Wolf Claw to remove a body like that, so...
Yeah, seems to be more focused on flipping over a Desperado Blaster and Security, and then all of a sudden, hey, now Shakkoumon's alive. Unless you have the memory to evolve up further.
Doing that hard cast probably would have been somewhat safe.
Seeing if he wants to go ahead and climb into a Shakkoumon right now. Looks like he does. Pass over 2 memory.
And I don't believe the Omnimon was revealed last game either.
Yeah, I don't believe he actually got up to any Mega in the previous game.
So the Omnimon and the Vikemon would be hidden, but the Vikemon is kind of like... With this type of deck, you must know that there's a Vikemon.
Hard drops the BlitzGreymon. Unlike Machine Dramon, doesn't have a DigiRumble effect when played, but will carry piercing.
He should have played the Valkyriemon 1 cost less, and it would have been the same thing.
I agree, especially since most likely he's probably just going to evolve into Ultra S on the next turn. That Garurumon does have, I believe, 4,000 DP. So it would be destroyed if we don't see Shakkoumon get Digivolved up here, and currently no Omnimon in XGN Tornado's hand. Would definitely be a good punish.
Yeah, when you're playing out there, don't be afraid to play the ballsy moves. We did see last night when Craniumon was played hard cast.
Did my heart good to see. That's the ultimate way to make sure your Craniumon doesn't get blown up by Ultras. I think I would kind of like to see the Vikemon go ahead and come down here and go and get some aggression in and try to build into a second Shakkoumon. Looks like that Vikemon probably not going to be coming down here. He's going to play that Gaumon to get rid of the Digimon. I feel like he's got to be aware here that there might well be an Ultras coming down. That's going to get rid of his Shakkoumon anyway. And with 3 memory left now, he's not going to be able to safely Digivolve into the Vikemon and take a swing at 13k plus 1.
Could go Vikemon. It'll be safe from the Ultras. Vike or Plezio.
Plesiomon can still at least be able to attack with this turn. And then if Ultras did come down, he would be back at Shakkoumon, which is kind of where he wants to be. At the same time, though, he would be open to being, I guess, clashed with currently by the 12k BlitzGreymon, if he did want to take the swing. Currently no blocker in hand either. And regardless of how much security attack minus you have, you can still destroy Digimon on the field. Just gonna give him a chunk of memory there. Hard dropping the Zudomon, digging through the deck. Picks up another Shakkoumon and the Booster 3 Blue Angemon. It's at 4 memory. Does have the set to 3 tamer on board now. So he's just going to respond to that with a set to 3 tamer of his own. Now, I don't believe Booster Tai is going to do anything in this matchup, as XGN is very focused on removing Digivolution sources. If there's actually a 4 Digivolution source on G-Man's side, I will be very shocked. Alright, we will see Ultras come down and destroy everything except for the hard drop Zudomon. So it does at least maintain 1 body on the board. See now.
With that much memory, he's going to be able to go into his Plezio or Vike. If only he had the Omnimon in hand.
Now, curious ruling here. When you hard drop the Shakkoumon, does it trigger Mat? It's not a blue Digimon while it's in your hand, only while it's on the field, correct?
So he would hard cast. He said hard casting the Shakkoumon, right?
Yeah, because it is a yellow Digimon while it's in the hand. So if you hit that booster 1 Mat to get rid of the BlitzGreymon, that would be very nice.
I believe it would get played on the field, and now that it's on the field, it is a blue Digimon, so the Mat would be able to activate.
That is definitely the way I'm sure actually would like it to be, for sure.
Because on the Mat, the card is if you play a Digimon, so that's after the play effect. And not some of the effects that we've seen that says if you would play or if you would do this. Okay, here we go. Vikemon swinging for 2, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also the Zudomon there, getting +1 memory.
Does have a 3-drop rookie in the hand.
5 security versus 3 security right now.
There's the blue Angemon coming down.
Are we going to go into Shaco again? Freezing the 2 Agumons.
Right, probably not under duress for being de-digivolved again. So the Shakkoumon should be able to just stand there. You gotta imagine probably wanting to be taking out that Vikemon to keep it from hitting for 2 every turn going forward with the Alter S. as eventually those Agumons can get Digivolved up. Although we do see a Desperado Blaster ready to get rid of a bunch of stuff. There's the Vicemon getting swung over. So we do again see Terra Force. G-Man saying if he really wants to get rid of that Shakkoumon.
Ooh, another mat. It's not the best card to see in security right now.
Does mean that if he were to drop that Gomamon or something cheap out of the hand, he could actually get rid of both the Digivolution sources on G-Man inside without having to play the Desperado Blaster. And there it is, the chat demanded it. Terra Force on the Shakkoumon.
I could just hard drop the Shakkoumon here.
Yeah, honestly, dropping the Shakkoumon, tapping the mats would just totally freeze G-Man's board at the moment.
He doesn't know that G-Man doesn't have the champions to go into, but he could just go Desperado Blaster first and another different play.
Yeah, I don't really think there's a point to Desperado Blaster here. Go ahead and use the pay 3 cost there to heal the body and basically do the same thing, right, with the mats.
Okay, here comes. Wait,
Did he not tap the mat?
He didn't tap the mat. Now it
Oh,
looks like
no.
it's a mistrigger.
Isn't that why you played him?
Ooh. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
my. And there's two of them on the board staring right at him.
And because it was an optional effect, our judge didn't have to do any corrections there.
Yep. Not mandatory. You may want to keep it on there for some reason.
I believe... Oh, yep, nope. It's passed. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I think that would have swung the game in his favor.
Yeah, what a colossal misplay right there. Especially just getting that mat from security. You'd think it would be fresh on his mind.
Yeah.
Right, there's the security Greymon.
I mean, at that point, that would have only let one Digimon on one side to attack, which...
And this game he does have the security advantage slightly, so could buy some time. With the security Digimon Greymon there, he does at least have full chain up to Mega now. See, that Shakkoumon not being hard casted means it is vulnerable to being de-Digivolved by the BlitzGreymon on a future turn.
That Biomon not dying to security.
I'm not sure if he was really fishing for that extra memory or not. Doesn't really have any 2-cost things to play, but might have liked to stuck him at 1.
Alright, 8,000. Desperado, there we go.
Alright, you get to do it for free, it's pretty good.
Just
So
right on
now-
time.
See, Gomamon's effect does not go off because that is a your turn effect, so it doesn't activate if you discard 1 from security. See if we might see a Selfimon come down on top of that Greymon to threaten the BlitzGrey on the following turn.
Wait, why doesn't the Gomamon trigger?
It's a your turn effect,
Your
not a
turn.
opponent's
Okay,
turn.
got
Yep.
it. G-Man is pretty safe here, to be honest.
Yeah, Exchange Tornadoes put a lot of resources into keeping the Shakkoumon on the board. Is this his 3rd Shakkoumon? I think this game? At least the 2nd, right?
I want to say so. I mean, he has 5 Digimon on the field that's ready to go.
Yeah, if he just goes into the... He's just going to hard drop the Selfimon, alright. Still threatens the BlitzGrey to come down the next turn, which would get rid of, I think, the 3rd Shakkoumon.
Why not the rookies? Okay. Yeah, I don't think actually a Tornado can take advantage of this memory, but that's interesting.
Maybe that was... Okay, I think the 3rd Shakkoumon is actually there next to Tornado's hand. At some point, I would love to see him hard cast it and just play around the de-Digivolved of the BlitzGreymon. See, I believe that is a Grismon that the current Shakkoumon is over top of, so at least that stack would not get destroyed if an Alter S came down again. I just can't get over the misplay with the mats.
Yeah,
that was incredible.
Would have been a totally different game.
Mm. One of the very few decks we've seen where Booster 1 mat is actually kind of key to the strategy. Shakkoumon making source stripping very viable right now, having a very potent effect if you don't have Digivolution source.
Okay, hard casting. There we go. Is he going to remember this time? Not that there's anything to strip.
A little too late for that one.
Could still
Maybe
tap them for fun.
Now.
So in the DigiRumble, we have 10-minute timers. Both players can play as long as they want, but once that timer hits 0, the game is over. And yesterday we did hit that 0 mark.
So now worth noting, you could actually play both the Shakkoumon down if you wanted to, and they would stack, just in case you were fearing a security attack +1.
Oh well, all of those Digimon are going to be going away now. Oh, actually, it's the Digivolve first. There's not enough memory on the other side. It should just be a swing for a win here, but he could do a lot of other shenanigans. Yep.
Yep, that Biomon giving him the extra memory he needed to not pass the turn by digivolving to the BlitzGrey, and that's going to be, I believe, BlitzGrey or just anyone else at this point swinging for game.
It should be just a swing, but I guess he could. There we go.
Yep. Alpha Strike.
And that is GG for this set, this first set. G-Man Toga Beaver getting 2 wins and 0 on XGN Tornado. Now, I wonder if this game would have been much different when if those mats would have triggered. I guess we'll never know, right?
Yeah, it is kind of hard to say. It definitely would have been a lot more interesting, for sure.